99% of coaches will never make six figures in their business. And it's not because of their marketing or their sales skills or even their niche. The truth is, after helping thousands of coaches, I've learned that there's one major thing that holds so many coaches back from getting more clients and increasing their income. And if you're curious what that is, keep watching, because you're about to find out. Hey, my name's Jason Moss. I'm a multi-six-figure business coach, and I help coaches launch and grow their businesses. And look, before we dive into this video, super powerful stuff here to help you get more clients. But if you're looking for a roadmap that you can follow to help you sign more coaching clients more consistently, I also recommend that you download our free client attraction guide. Walks through so much more of my best advice to help you do this, and it's completely free. All you gotta do to get it is click the link above or in the description down below. So when it comes to growing a coaching business and getting more clients, most coaches, when it comes to trying to do this, tend to focus most of their attention on the outside, the external aspect of their business. In other words, their marketing plan, their sales skills, their niche, the business foundations. This stuff's super important. And I don't want to discount this. This is a big part of what we teach people inside Coaching Launchpad and all of our programs. And you need to have this stuff in place in order to increase your income, make more money, get more clients. All of this stuff's super important. But there's another piece that often coaches miss. And when you don't have this piece in place, you can have all of the external side of things in line. But oftentimes what you'll see, number one, you'll feel like you're kind of pushing a boulder up a hill. This is a big symptom of not having this piece in place. So when things feel really hard and effortful, when it feels like, I'm trying so hard to grow my business, I feel like everything feels like a strain and a struggle. That's one symptom of not having this piece in place. The other symptom that you'll often see is that sometimes you'll take one or two steps forward and then you'll take a couple steps backwards. And you constantly feel like you're in this dance between moving forward in your business. Maybe you hit a new milestone, you hit a record month in terms of revenue, and then 2 or 3 months later, you're right back where you started. And it's like, well, what happened? How can I create more consistency? I feel like I hit this level and then suddenly I'm right back where I started. This is another symptom of not having this piece in place. So what is the piece that I'm talking about? What is the most important key to success when it comes to growing your coaching business, getting more clients? That is your identity. Truth be told, you cannot create something in the external world that does not align with who you believe yourself to be, your identity, who you are, how you see yourself, your beliefs about yourself, the world, about others, all of these things that really make up who you are. If there's not an alignment between that piece and the business that you're trying to create, you will self-sabotage, you will not be able to hold on to success, or you'll just never get there in the first place. So when it comes to making change in the outside world, and this applies to whether you're talking about growing a coaching business or really anything else, the first and most important step is you have to become the kind of person who can hold the level of success that you say that you want. It actually starts from the inside out. Most people start from the outside in. They're so focused on trying to change the outside that they forget about the inside. The life that you have today is perfectly aligned to who you are, your identity. Now, when we change the identity, this is what's cool. When you actually shift this, things fall into line on the outside much more easily. So if you want to become a six-figure business owner, the first thing you do is you start looking at, okay, how do I shift into the identity of a six-figure business owner? And then suddenly things change on the outside much more easily. This is the number one biggest key to success when it comes to growing a coaching business, getting more clients, reaching a new income milestone. You got to become the kind of person who can hold the level of success that you say that you want. Now, when it comes to shifting your identity, this might seem kind of mushy and vague, and it's like, how do I actually do this? Well, here's the truth. It's not actually that complicated. You know, I have a 4-step process that I want to share with you here. If you follow these steps, you walk through this process so that you can create what you want in your business much more easily. Okay, so the first step of this 4-step identity shift process is to get clear on what you want. 99% of people walk around, they don't really know what they want. Even coaches. It's like, even though we do all this inner work, like oftentimes we're not clear about what we want our life, our business, our clients, our income to look like. And so the first step of this process is to get super clear on this. And this could be as simple as sitting down, opening up a blank page on your computer, a journal, something like that, where you can sit down and write uninterrupted for a little while and just ask yourself, like, what do I really want? And just let yourself dream. Like, I don't want you to put, caps on what you think is possible. I talk to a lot of coaches on sales calls sometimes, and they tell me, one of the questions I love asking people is like, well, how much money do you want to make? And people are like, well, I feel like it's not super realistic, but like what I kind of want is like 10K, but like, I'd be happy with 5K. And I'm like, no, set aside all that stuff. And what do you really want? And this is not about like me putting my ideas into your mind. If you don't want to make 10K a month, that's fine. There's nothing right or wrong here. There's no amount of money that you need to aim for. Some people don't have a desire to make more money. Some people do. So getting clear on what it is that you want and what feels authentic for you is really the first step of this. And once we get clear on this, everything else follows from that. So if you're doing this live with me, you can pause this video right now, go open up a Google Doc or something like that, and spend 20, 30 minutes journaling on what it is that you really want, what's most important to you. Now, a couple of areas I do want you to focus on when it comes to your coaching business. Number one, what kind of clients do you want to work with? Like, if you could work with anyone, who would it be? How much money do you want to make? What do you want your days to look like? What kinds of activities do you want to be doing on a daily basis in your business? How do you see that playing out on a daily basis? Get really clear on that piece. So we want to really paint that picture and get super grounded in like, what is that reality that you're looking to create? But from there, step two, I want you to close your eyes and imagine the kind of person who is living that life. Sometimes it's helpful to imagine like another person that you might know. For example, maybe you have a mentor, or if you're talking about building a successful coaching business, maybe you're thinking you want to make 6 figures as a coach. Maybe there's someone else who's already making 6 figures as a coach, and you can close your eyes and you can imagine, who is that person? And I want you to just notice, how do they see the world? How do they see themselves? What kind of beliefs do they have? What kind of activities do they engage in? Just get a sense for like, who is the person that is living this life and creating these circumstances that I say that I really want. And get really clear and see if you can kind of like get a sense for their energy and just like how they engage with the world, and just kind of notice like who this person is and what kind of identity they hold. Super important key to success. Now, one other way that you can do this is maybe you don't imagine someone else. Maybe you imagine yourself as already having achieved this level of success, the level of income, whatever it is that you want. And just close your eyes and imagine like, how would I walk through the world if I was that person already? What kinds of things would I believe? What kinds of things would I know to be true about myself, about others? So we can use someone else as a way of kind of accessing this, or even yourself if it feels more comfortable. Either of those are gonna, depending on who you are, maybe you find that one works better for you. Now, once you've gotten a clear sense of this, you can start writing down things that you notice, just to really kind of capture like the essence of who this person is, and just anything that feels relevant for you. Maybe it's even the clothes that they wear, or how they hold themselves, or specific beliefs that they might have about clients or their business. And just write these things down and just kind of freeform it until you've really captured the essence of who this person is on paper. Now, from there, that moves us on to step number 3, which is noticing the contrast. So now that we've gotten a clear sense for who this person is, we can actually compare that to who you are today and how you're showing up in the world today. And I want to be really clear that this is not an exercise meant to invoke judgment or shame. God knows, like, I'm hard enough on myself. I don't need another way of like beating myself up. This is really meant to be more of an exercise of awareness and looking at the contrast between who this person is, who's living the life that you want, and where you are today can help you identify what the gaps are. In other words, what needs to shift and change with your identity and how you're showing up today. This could be specific beliefs. Maybe this person who's, for example, running a 6-figure coaching business believes that there are more than enough clients out there for them. And maybe you notice in your life today that you've been walking around with this belief of scarcity around like, I feel like there aren't enough clients, so I need to maybe serve everyone, or I feel like I need to take whoever comes in the door, or I need to lower my rates so that I can, take every client because I'm afraid there aren't going to be enough. So this is an example of a contrast that you can just kind of notice. Maybe it's noticing how this person holds themselves. Maybe there's more of a sense of confidence or kind of an authority that they show up in the world, right? So we can start to notice the contrast. One other area I want you to look at is how this person makes decisions. This is a big one as well. This was one of the things that I did a while back when I was first growing my coaching business. I wanted to attract more clients who would be more decisive. In other words, I get on a sales call with them and they would sign up. If they knew in their heart it was the right decision, they wouldn't think about on it. They wouldn't push things off or delay. And so one of the things I started looking at in my life was like, okay, I know the person that I want to be is the person who's decisive. And I know the way that I attract the clients that I want is I have to model that, right? I have to become the kind of person that I want my ideal clients to be. But I started looking at my life and I realized like, hey, there's so many different circumstances where I just kind of waffle in indecisiveness. Like I would go into like CVS to buy like a stick of deodorant and I'd spend like 10 minutes just staring at the deodorant aisle, like reading all of the backs of the deodorant to try to figure out like which one was the perfect one for me. So I started showing up and practicing being more decisive. And this is a skill, you know, that we all can develop. And as a result, you know, I started shifting that identity over time into someone today that, you know, when something feels right, I try to make pretty quick decisions. Not always. Sometimes I sit with things. I'm much more decisive than I used to be. And as a result, I don't deal with a lot of the back end stuff that I used to deal with on sales calls because the energy that I hold is one of decisiveness. So I tend to attract more of the kind of people who are just in that energy already and they're able to be more decisive. And also I'm able to lead people more effectively to making commitments because I'm walking the walk. So this is one example of what this might look like. And really step 3 just in general is about noticing the contrast between where you are today and who this person is, this identity of the person is that has created the success that you want. Okay, so this brings us to step 4, which is I think the most exciting step, which is starting to embody the new identity. So now that you're clear, you have more awareness about the gap between who you are today and who you want to be to create the business that you want, you can start walking through the world and on a daily basis, starting to embody more and more of the identity of the person that you really want to be to create the level of success that you want. This is as simple as asking some questions as you move through your day. So one question I love, this is like a perspective-based question, is if you maybe have a person in mind when you thought of like, I want to build a 6-figure coaching business. Maybe I know this one person in my life who's already running a successful coaching business. It doesn't even have to be someone you know personally. It could just be someone on Instagram that you follow or something like that. When it comes to walking through your day, you can start asking yourself the question, maybe this person is me, as an example. You could ask this question, how would Jason think about making this decision? Or what would Jason think about this? Or how would Jason approach this? And so you can use that as a filter to start to give you a new lens that will help you step more fully into embodying the identity of the person that you really want to be. You can also just ask a question like, well, how would a 6-figure coach think about this? You know, if you're grappling with a decision or maybe feeling stuck in a certain pattern of thinking, using that as a focusing question can be really powerful, right? So that gives you a lens that you can use to start to shift more and more fully into the new identity. And as you can start doing this is not going to be an overnight process. It takes some time, but as you fully anchor into this new identity, you'll find that the external, in other words, your business, the amount of money that you're making, the number of coaching clients that you're signing, will naturally fall into line to match that new identity that you hold. It's literally a law of nature. You cannot have something on the outside that is not in alignment with who you are, your identity. And so as that identity shifts, the outside will naturally change to meet you. And this is one of the most exciting parts about focusing from this inside out perspective. It's not that you don't focus on the marketing plan and the sales skills and all those pieces. Those are all super important. It's not like we can just do the identity work and everything else happens on its own, but it becomes so much more easy and so much more effortless. It's not like this grind and slog when you're just trying to change things in the outside world without really being mindful of the identity piece. And that's why I'm so excited to share this with you. I'm excited to see you try this, and you'll have to keep me posted and let me know how it's going, because this is some of the most exciting work that you can do when it comes to growing your coaching business. Also important that you have some of the external pieces in place too, right? The marketing plan, the sales, the niche, the offer, all of those pieces are incredibly important as well. So if you're looking for a roadmap that you can follow to help you dial in some of those things too, I put together a free client attraction guide that walks through so much of my best advice to help you do this. I'd love to share it with you. It's completely free. All you got to do to get it is click the link above or in the description down below. And if you enjoyed this video, you're definitely going to love that one too. So click the link on the screen to go check that out, and I'll see you in the next video.